Hey, 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 hey. Guess who is going live? Me. Good evening. It is about 8:39 p.m. here in beautiful, beautiful California. It's not even been dark that long, but my husband brought some mail in to me, and I was so excited about this mail. Yes, I am. I got some mail. I'm not going to expose the address where this mail came from, but I'm excited to open this mail. And I decided I wanted to open it live because I already know it is the book, the brand new book by my friend, the one and only Tasha Denese Bellamy. Yes, and I'm excited to do this. Give me 1 second right here. Tasha Denise. Oh, let me turn it. There we go. I just wanted to make sure that I had everything where I wanted it. Yep, yep, yep. Hey, so anyways, I'm gonna unveil this book. I'm doing this because I want her to be able to share this to her web page. But I also want to just let you guys see that this book that I had the pleasure of pre-reading. Uh, but this book is good and it's real. It's here, and I'm excited. So I'm not going to show you her address. I'm sending it around real quick, but it is here. I did already open it, and it came. She packaged it really nice with all kinds of fun frilly stuff in it. Uh, cute cut paper. She actually wrapped it really cute too, as y'all can see. Real cute, Tasha. I like it. I like it. And I don't like, if anybody knows me, like I will take so long to open stuff because I don't like the ripped paper. I know that's crazy, but I ain't gonna have no choice. I have to rip it just a little bit, but that's okay. So, and I'm all about recycle. Hold on, my eye itch. Oh, my eye was itching. So, oh my God, this is here, y'all. It is actually here. So, I am unwrapping it. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna say this pretty pink paper, right? Because one is cute. Two, I can reuse it. How about that? Y'all, here it is. Here is the book. Y'all see this? Oh, I might be messing up the light by coming in. Now, y'all see, I did my back cover of it, anyways, when I did a pre reading about it. But this is the book. It is right here. This cover is everything. My eye is itching. Oh my goodness. The title of the book is The Drug Addiction, Overcoming the Drug Addiction I Never Had. Let me just say the touch of this book. Listen, the touch of it is almost velvetly. It's almost like velvet. I Tasha, good job. The touch of the book. Now this is classy to me. As you can see, it is Overcoming the Drug Addiction I Never Had by one and only Tasha Denese. Now I know Tasha Denise as Tasha Bellamy, which that is who she is, but um, I love it. The cover is literally everything, and the title snatched me right up. The title snatched me right up. I talked to my friend Bridget today. Um, I talked to my friend Bridget today, and we were talking, and I mentioned the book to Bridget, and I'm like, Bridget, you got to read this book. So she's like, oh, I'm ordering. I just gave her a snippet of what the book was about, and when I tell you, hold on, let me do this. Yeah, when I tell you, she was just on the title alone, she was sold. She was like, oh, I'm buying. I'm gonna order the book. So I actually, my daughter also, yeah, I'm opening the book. And of course, I do have a autographed copy of the book. Y'all, look. Yes. Oh, wow. Wow. I got the feels right now. I'm literally in my feels to my dear friend. And listen, I mean, even her this first of all, Tasha, your handwriting is beautiful. And then she has her own personalized tag, and it just says, of course, my name, Lorenda. You make my life better just by being in it. I'm thankful to have you as a dear friend. Thank you for reading my journey of overcoming with love and light. Listen, I can only say to you, get the book. Seriously. I did read the first a few. I was only gonna do like a few chapters, and before I knew it, I was like on like I was in the book. But I have read this book now seriously like 5 times. It's a very easy read, but when I tell you it is, you have to read it more than once, because the first go round is going to be, it's going to grab you. Seriously, the ride that you're going to go on with her, it's going to grab you. And I'll tell you why. If you listen to these these chapters, and each chapter, they're small chapters, very easy to read, but the information is weighty. Some of it is heavy, some of it is hard, but then there's a lot of it that's going to encourage you, and you'll see her strength in this book. Look, I cannot wait to interview you, girl. I can't wait. All the questions I'm sure that will come across it. Yeah. So chapter 1, the first chapter is titled Broken Heart, Fixed Vision. Look, I mean, but she's got chapters like sound, some wounds take more than time to heal. Woo. Careless ammunition. Oh, mama's bait. Whoa. Our house was never a home. What you say? Look, closet full of secrets and unhappiness. These are the titles of, these are her titles, her chapter titles. When I tell you, when I tell you, wow. This, yeah. I wanted an audio. I'm telling you, because when I read with expression. So, and I read with my feelings, I read with my heart. So her dedication and her preface says, overcoming the drug addiction I never had. A personal journey of a woman's dominant struggle to recover from a painful childhood and learning how to forgive an unloving mother. Whew. Whew. Ah, wow. I love this quote that she says. She says, she dedicated this book. She says, I dedicate this book to the living memory of my brother, Robert, who will forever remain in my heart, and to the woman of the hour, my mother, Deborah, who inspired my writings but will never have an opportunity to read them. May the winds of heaven whisper softly in your ear that you can finally rest in peace and not live in pieces. Wow. Heal so you can hear what's being said without the filter of your wounds. Woo! God. She said, heal so you can hear what's being said without the filter of your wounds. My goodness, today. So I'm gonna have to buy a second copy though, so I can write in it, because I do write notes in books, because especially since I know that I'm going to interview you, there are things that I'm gonna have to hit. Yes. Oh wow. Okay, so let me, her acknowledgments. She writes, it has been written that a book's dedication is the author's opportunity to blow someone a kiss and an acknowledgement. It's like extending a warm and welcoming hug to someone you care about and who has supported you through or after a long process or journey. Having said that, my I must blow a kiss to my editor, Dr. Janaya Purdue, from reading early drafts to giving me advice on the flow and effectiveness, for being a listening ear and encouraging me to complete this everlasting project. I love and appreciate you more than I can complete this everlasting project. I love and appreciate you more than I can express in words, which is ironic for a writer. Yeah. Although I have attempted to express my gratitude during our extensive conversations, I would now like to let everyone else know just how amazing you are, and that you're one who helped make it possible for this book to even exist. I would also like to extend a hug of gratitude to my formatter and book cover designer, Carlette Thompson Whitlock. And I'm telling you, she did that. The cover is everything from the touch of it, like the touch of the cover. I absolutely love it. Kudos to her. This book was finally completed because of both of you. I thank you, I love you, and I appreciate you both. Deep grief sometimes is almost like a specific location, a coordinate on a map of time. When you are standing in that forest of sorrow, you cannot imagine that you could ever find your way to a better place. But if someone can assure you that they themselves have stood in that same place and now have moved on, sometimes this will bring hope. Excerpts from the book Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. That was a good book, too. She says, once I formed a deeper connection within, the power and perception of self love began to grow. When that happened, I recognized the different levels of consciousness that surround me on a more natural level. I gained clarity and I saw that the world around me is just a reflection of the world inside me. Mm. Honestly, this made it somewhat unclear to me who I could blame for the problems in my life. You see, as someone who suffered a distressing childhood, it has been frustrating to learn how or if I should take responsibility for the experiences that I survived but didn't create. I like that. I want to write in my book. Um, Even in my personal relationships, owning my part was hard uh, uh, to do, especially since I believed that the burdens of pain were mine to hold on to. With uncompromising resentment towards everyone who I believed had intentionally created unjustifiable pain in my life. Projecting responsibility onto someone else, of course, is contradictory to identifying and taking responsibility for my own feelings and the consequences for my life choices. That's true. Logically and uncertainly and logically, the uncertainty in taking ownership of my emotions stemmed from knowing that I wasn't responsible for the pain that I was forced to take responsibility for. I blamed my mother and a few other relatives for my low self esteem and blamed almost everyone else I encountered for worsening it with their unsuspecting behavior. Sorry. Blaming made sense to me because it wasn't my fault that my mother was unloving, toxic, and an irresponsible crackhead. Wow. Or that various family members were uncaring and spiteful towards me. And the poor treatment I encountered from people I met along the way sure as hell wasn't my fault either. But then I realized that all I was doing was holding on to the act of blaming others instead of taking action to heal and release myself. All right. All right. Um, I believed blaming and avoiding others protected me from more harm. On the contrary, I ended up creating more damaging situations that were difficult for me to detach myself and to move forward from. The increasing burdens of shame and guilt only added to the anguish that I was already carrying, and I continued to attract the exact pain and toxicity that I was desperately trying to escape. Ah, hold on one second. There we go. In addition to doubling on my burdens of stress, I expected to find a solution to my pain blended with declarations of guilt and remorse in the hands of everyone who had hurt me. Once I understood that it was up to others to take responsibility for their actions when and only when or if they chose to do so, I was able to release myself from unrealistic expectations and move forward instead of continuing to hold my breath. Listen, that is a valuable lesson. You'll be waiting forever sometimes on some people. Okay? From there, I was able to live in my own freedom and my truth. I was able to gain clarity from detrimental self created situations. I began taking control of my feelings and bearing responsibility for my actions, which included responding with silence to others' actions that impacted my life. I forgave the people who hurt me, even though they didn't ask for my forgiveness. That's powerful. I forgave the people who abused me, even though they never admitted any wrongdoing. I forgave myself for not knowing all the answers and not knowing what to do. I learned to love myself the way I deserve to be loved and work on creating the life I never knew I wanted or merited. And frankly, a life I didn't even know existed or that could be my own. I left the resolve of the wrongs committed against me in the hands of the universe, and I released myself to live my life free of blame, shame, and guilt. Man, I could use that in a sermon. Whew! Look, see, I don't want to, but I'm gonna have to mark this one. I mean, I wanna. I'm gonna try to wait and order it because I wanna. These. This is so important to me. I like that line. I like that because you survived. Now she goes on to write. Now this is just her acknowledgments and her opening. This is just her opening. Extending grace and forgiveness to myself gave me mental and emotional freedom. It's a lifelong process of commitment that takes some serious fudging work. Fudging work. But I'm here for it and I'm worth it. Yes, you are. So are you, she says. Yes, I am. These writings began as stored up anger and resentment that I wanted to release with the sole intention of disarming and exposing the very people who I believe had either intentionally abandoned me or willfully caused me pain in some way during my childhood and early adult life. But once I was able to recover from the humiliation and come to the realization that there was nothing to gain aside from creating more of the same hurt, drama, and pain that I was running from, I changed my mind. Had I continued writing from a space of emotional devastation, I would have only proven that although I had seemingly escaped the people who broke me, I was still carrying my brokenness. That, listen, look, girl, you know I'm a preacher girl. And these, listen, I'm a believer, and this is valuable right here. You preach it, and you don't even know it. I love it. She continues to write. She says, steering clear of all paths that led to communicating or connecting with people who had hurt me, preventing more pain from getting inside, but it didn't eliminate the pain that had already settled in my heart. And it certainly didn't prevent me from passing that same pain and brokenness down to my own children. My writings now serve a dual, more meaningful purpose that stretches beyond the pain, the shame of my childhood, and the emotional battles that substantially hindered me from a significant portion of my early life through adulthood. First, I write to talk about the unspoken dynamics of brokenness that sometimes exist between mothers and daughters, can transfer from one generation to the next. Secondly, I write to let readers know that they don't have to be silent anymore. They can tell their stories, and release their pain. We don't have to live our lives hiding behind the shadows of fear and shame while the monsters who inflicted our pain live their lives and continue destroying other lives. Whoa. Okay? We can speak up and fight against the darkness instead of allowing it to keep our voices silent. Your light, just like mine, can outshine the darkness. Girl, look, you, you, I'm telling you. She continues, I pray that my survival of some of my most regrettable mistakes, shameful moments, and exasperating experiences will, will prevent someone else from having the same heartache and provide comfort in knowing there is a rainbow after most every after a rainbow after most every tumultuous thunderstorm. If I can help just one person in this world who may be held captive by mental and emotional guilt that's endorsed by family dysfunction and damaging societal opinions, to know that their feelings were valid and real and that they will be okay, then that's enough for me. Girl, this your interview right here, child. This is good. That's good. If I can help this, I like that. It's my genuine hope that through sharing my story of overcoming heartbreak, shame, and struggle to find myself through all the darkness derived from my life experiences, that I can offer enough light to another human being to be able to fight their way through their darkness as well. This is my life. Whew. But it is certainly, but this certainly isn't my entire story. I know you right. I know you are right. I love that. And then it goes into, and as I said, it is not a very long book, but when I tell you it is full, it is rich, and it is deep. I really want you to get this book. I am planning to interview her on this book, just because one, she's my friend. Two, I want to know there are questions that I have, and you may have questions too. So I will be speaking with her, and then we'll be putting that out there and opening it up to the public. I do encourage you to purchase this book. Again, the title of this book is titled Overcoming the Drug Addiction I Never Had by one and only Tasha Denese. The book is, it's well done. It is her personal story. It is very vulnerable. It's deep, it's heavy, but it's also victorious because she's overcoming. And she used the therapy of writing to do so. Tasha, thank you so much for sending me an autographed copy of this book. From the touch of it, it is beautiful. I love the ebony girl on the cover, but I love the the fact that there's no face says a lot to me. And I want to ask you about that. I want to ask you about that. I want to know, there are things I want to know. Where did this title come from? Because when I tell you the title, it's a catcher. It snatched me. The moment I heard the title, I was caught. I needed to know what this was going to be about. And as I read, OMG. It's these letters though. Ugh. It's the letters for me. When I tell you the letters, can I just read one letter? May I please read one letter? So this is coming from my friend Tasha Denese's book. This is her book. She is a new author titled Overcoming the Drug Addiction I Never Had. When I tell you, the story is powerful. But at the end of the book, she writes letters. And this is letter number one. You got to get this book. You have to get the book. One, support my friend. She's an author. Two, because I think you will either find yourself or you will be able to relate to someone or an experience that you've had or known about. Letter number one. Dear family members, I struggled with my decision to write this letter to each of you because I initially felt that none of you were worth the time or the effort. But I changed my mind because one, not only is it imperative that I release myself from these feelings, but two, what I have to say is long overdue and needs to be said. And three, each one of you needs to hear and to receive it. Some of you may not agree with what I'm about to say, and others of you may become upset or even angry. As a result, should you decide to respond or react negatively, that's just fine because you certainly have the option to do as you choose to. But bear in mind that I also have every right to say everything that I am about to say. So please read on. Although this letter is meant to address all of you, I wanted to first speak specifically and directly to blank. I'm not certain which name you are demanding people call you nowadays, but at any rate, for for most, if not all, my childhood, you were evil and cruel to me. And you mistreated me and abused me and my sisters and brothers physically, mentally, and emotionally as much as you possibly could. You did not want us. You did not care about us because you are so miserable with your own life and you carry so much hatred with you because of how your own mother treated you and because you have so much resentment towards your own sister, our mother, as a result of all the personal issues and conflicts experienced between the two of you. Your only focus and determination was to get back at our mother and hurt her by trying to damage our lives and break our spirits. Wow. You went out of your way to hurt us by any means necessary in every way you knew how to. You did not love us and you refused to allow anyone else to love us. All we ever wanted and needed from you was to be loved. We never asked to be here or to be part of this family or part of your turmoil, and you had no right to take it out on us. As for the rest of you, although you were not physically there with her to inflict all the hurt and pain directly, you hold just as much responsibility and blame as she does simply because you knew what she was doing and every one of you chose to ignore it. You knew she was mistreating us. You knew she was hurting us. You knew she was lying on us. You knew she didn't want us. Yet, not one of you had the courage or the human decency to step up to the plate and stop her or rescue us from her. Your excuses have been that it was because she is your sister, because you could only believe your sister, and because you love your sister. But what you fail to acknowledge are the innocent children whose lives your sister deliberately tried to destroy. Who was supposed to believe us? Who was supposed to fight for us? Who was supposed to love us? What about us? Not only did you turn your heads from what she did and continue to do, but you all chose to turn your heads the other way while your sons and your spouses and any other men in your lives that were more important than we were tried to rape or sexually assault us. When they hurt us and abused us in any and every inconceivable way, all you did was turn your heads. All you did was cover up and dismiss their inappropriate behavior, and you protected them instead of preventing them from hurting us and protecting us. Blank. You are my you are my mother, but only because you gave birth to me. There's absolutely no other reason whatsoever that I could think of that you deserve to be acknowledged as my mother. You have no idea how many times in the past that I wished and prayed that you would have just died because it would have been so much easier to accept the fact that you were dead and couldn't be there for me rather than embrace the fact that you just didn't care about me and chose to abandon me. Wow, so sorry. I'm so sorry. this. I now realize that because of your own personal life issues and tragedies, and mostly because of your addictions, that you did not have the strength or the mental capacity or the physical ability to care about me or to be a mother to neither me nor my sisters and brothers. It is because of God and my own personal plight to have a stronger relationship with Him and to be healed and seek peace and forgiveness for myself from God that I came to this realization. Let's not deny or overlook the truth of the matter and the fact that before the drugs became an addiction, you had a choice and you were perfectly capable of making the right one, which should have been caring for or parenting your children. Each of you have gone on with living with your lives, ignoring reality, pretending like none of it had ever happened and like you never hurt or allowed your sister or others to hurt us. But all of it did happen, and each of you did allow it. You can continue to pretend that it didn't happen, but I know it did, and so does God. All that you did to us and all that you allowed others to do to us was wrong and unacceptable on every level of human decency. Although I have chosen to forgive, I will never forget any of it. You have hidden You have hidden bank accounts and have lived off money you received from the death of my brother, who, because you damaged his life and you destroyed his future, was crippled long before he had the car accident. My brother, who, because you denied him the love he deserved and refused to give him the chance he needed to pursue any dreams he ever had, died long before he was physically dead. You killed him long before he killed himself. Sorry. You build up your families, take care of your households, and you help others. You take pride and comfort in benefiting from his death while you continuously belittle us. You would rather sit back and allow us to suffer and struggle and hurt because of all your hatred and resentment and inability to completely control and manipulate us. You go out of your way to keep us weak and powerless. It is sad and unfortunate that we have had to endure so much pain because of each of you. You have the nerve to think that what you have done and continue to do is right. You have the audacity to believe that when the day of judgment comes, that you will be able to stand before God and think that he will say that it is well with him. You intentionally mistreated and hurt and manipulated and abused and ignored and killed and allowed so much pain to be afflicted upon your nieces, nephews, sons, daughters, your own flesh and blood. Then you keep right on living like you're living and you keep right on doing what you've always done. I can only hope and pray that God has mercy and provides the grace on each of your souls that only God can have and give. Each of you has made and continues to make comments about how much of an attitude I have, or how I don't come around the family, or how mean I am towards my mother or others of you. It simply amazes me how none of you ever think about or question the reasons why. As if I just woke up one day and decided to detach myself from you and not allow my children to be a part of your lives or allow you the opportunity to damage their lives for no apparent reason at all. As if you never did anything to contribute to the reasons. I made the decision to do not, to the reasons I made the decision to not allow you in my life anymore. As if you never hurt me or caused me grief and pain by trying to make my life as miserable as you are and always have been. Although your thoughts and feelings about this letter are the very least of my concerns, by no means do I want to leave any of you with the impression that I am angry or bitter, because I'm not. On the contrary, I am better. better than you ever thought or wished I could be. I will admit that it took me an exceptionally long time to get to this point and be capable of releasing the pain that I held on to for so many years, and to move forward with my life, seeking God's direction, guidance, and purpose for my life. But I made it, and I made it despite all of you. I have forgiven each of you because that is the God in me. And because that is what God would have me to do. Because of God, I have redeemed my life from my past. And I have evaluated my present circumstances. And I can look forward towards a greater and more positive future. I am at peace with myself and with my life. And what serves to be an even greater source of comfort for me is the fact that although you did hurt me and cause me so much pain, and although you don't ever have to apologize to me or do right by me, you will one day have to absolutely, without an inch of a doubt, answer to God. And you will have to repent before Him, and you will have to do right by Him. That's the best source of refuge I could ever receive. I am blessed and I am okay, and so are my children, and so are my grandchildren. We are all okay. Blank, just as I begin this letter by addressing you, I will end with you as well by saying that it is such a shame that instead of teaching love and morals or self worth and value, or how to respect and take pride in whose we are, you taught the complete opposite: hatred, anger, bitterness, resentment, and shame. And what's even more of a shame is the fact that both your grand blanks and your niece, nephew, my siblings, act and behave exactly like you. You taught them very well, and you certainly shouldn't be proud of that. The only difference between the two of them is that your grand blank applies what she or he has learned from you towards you, and your niece nephews apply what he or she has learned from you towards everyone else. I pray that you one day, somehow, find something or someone in your life to be happy about, because it will be a sad and unfortunate result for you to die as miserable as you continue to live. Signed, the niece you never loved or gave a chance, the relative you never supported or believed in, the daughter you were never there for who became the angel God held on to. Wow. Oh, that, wow. That is letter number one. Oh my gosh. My goodness. There's three letters. Oh my gosh. These boy. So letter number two, I'm not gonna read it out loud, not now. I'll give you guys time to get this book. Letter number two is the little girl with the bad attitude. She wrote a letter to her, and that she actually wrote that letter back in 2008. And then letter number three is Dear Judgment. Whew, I tell you. Oh, no, there's four letters. I thought so. Letter number four, her death was my release. When I tell y'all better get this book. Get the book. Get the book, because I want to talk about this book to people. But if you haven't read it, it's hard to. I mean, I could talk about it, and you should get the book. But I really, really, really want to talk about the book. So I want you to get the book. The book is titled "Overcoming the Drug Addiction I Never Had" by my good friend, my childhood friend, Tasha Denese, who I know is Miss Tasha Bellamy. She's beautiful, she's amazing, and she's talented, and she has learned the art of healing, and she's using the gift that God gave her to be healed. And that is, she removed the stigma of shame and she wrote her life story. Um, and I love what she says in her opening. She says, "This is my life, but it certainly isn't my entire story." So this is just a little bit. Oh, Bridge, girl, I wish you'd been on. I just read, child. I just read the letter at the end of my. This is the book, Bridget. It's titled. This book is beautiful. You sis, get the book. Sis, get the book. I'm telling you. I'm gonna tell you since you just popped on. Thank you for popping on. You see it. The title is Overcoming the Drug Addiction I Never Had. This is by my friend Tasha Denese. She was my childhood friend. We grew up together. I promise you, I did not know half of this stuff. But let me tell you some of the titles in the book. I love it. She sent me an autographed copy of the book. Let me tell you some of the titles. The first title is called Broken Heart, Fixed Vision. The second chapter is Some Wounds Take More Time. Some wounds take more than time to heal. Chapter 3 is Careless Ammunition. Chapter 4 is Mama's Bait. Chapter 5 is Our House Was Never a Home. Chapter 6, Closets Full of Secrets and Unhappiness. Chapter 7, Running Scared. Chapter 8, Her Trauma Caused My Pain. Ooh. Chapter 9, Muzzled into Silence. Chapter 10, My Pain Caused Her Trauma. Ugh. Chapter 11, Cycle of Trauma. Chapter 12, Disrupting the Narrative, Fighting to Change the Narrative, Mirroring the Narrative. Whew. Chapter 13, Escaping Smoke to be Scorched by Flames. Oh, that chapter. Chapter 14, Searching for Perfection, Yet Creating Despair. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Chapter 16, The Ramifications of Toxic Comfort. And these are small chapters and they flow. It's beautifully written. Beautifully written. Chapter 16, Broke My Heart and Healed My Soul. Chapter 18, My Soul Was a Recognizable Stranger. Chapter 18, 19, I'm getting confused now. Beautiful Flowers Covering Ugly Bull. Listen, these titles, girl, my God. Next chapter, Inhaling Truth, Exhaling Chaos, Pain, and Fear. The next chapter, Unraveling Family Ties. Next chapter, Forgiveness Isn't Weakness, It's Freedom. Woo! Next chapter, Breathing Again. Next chapter, Learning How to Love. Next chapter, Mustering the Resolve. The next chapter, Cleansing the Old and Anchoring in the New. Next chapter, Home Was Chaos Until I Chose to Move Away. And then the final chapter in the book is From Trauma to Transformation. When I tell you that listen, when I first read it, now mind you, I've read it like 5 times. When I first read it, it was hard. Even just reading, I read her first letter. She has 4 letters at the end of the book that she writes. If you get a chance, Bridge, go back and listen to what I just did, because it's powerful. It really, really is powerful. It really is. It really is powerful. It is. And if you get a chance, go back and listen to it. listen to the recording. But that first letter, I was fighting back tears reading it because and you, Tasha, you write this so well. Like you wrote it, even though it speaks almost to the detail of all of your truth. You didn't name call. You didn't do any of those things, and you're within your rights. This book is really something, and I love what you this quote, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. Heal so you can hear what's being said without the filter of your wounds. This book is I'm probably gonna read some more tonight. I want the audio version because I want to hear the words. I want to feel those moments when you choke up. When I mean, like, it's hard not to read. I mean, y'all don't know. Let me give you a sample. This is just a small sample. This is a small sample. First chapter, broken heart, fixed vision. And then I'm gonna be done with this because I'm gonna go read it again. It says, it opens like this. This is the book titled Overcoming the Drug Addiction I Never Had by Tasha Denese. This book is now available. You can buy this book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can get it in ebook on your Nook. I love it. I love the book. And this is my friend Tasha's personal story of life. Let me tell you what she says. It's a personal journey of a woman's dominant struggle to recover from a painful childhood and learn how to forgive an unloving mother. Yeah. Yeah. Chapter 1, Broken Heart, Fixed Vision. Once upon a dream, I was engaged to be married. My fiance and I decided that we would have premarital counseling so that we could both learn how to sustain our soon to be partnership. During our very first session, our counselor asked us to explain what we each wanted from one another as we entered into our new union. I was asked to go first. Now, according to most scripted reality TV shows, there's this long, exhaustive set of obligations and a very personal yet common list of needs that most people expect to be met by their future spouse. Most often, on a basic level, these illusionary lists, or in some cases, delusionary, that was funny, include healthy communication, money management, and intimacy. But the only, she said, but the only want that I was able to express in that moment was my desperate need to know and to feel that I was safe. The counselor asked me to elaborate. Still dreaming, I began to choke up as I explained that I wanted to feel safe enough to allow myself to love and be loved without any hesitation or shadow of doubt. Could I let my guards down and be emotionally vulnerable without fear, shame, retaliation, or resentment after openly sharing and expressing myself? That's a good question. Would I be subjected to struggle love? Would I have to fight for attention and affection and go above and beyond just to prove myself worthy of love and protection? Tearfully, my quavering voice managed to blurt out, I crave safety. I crave safety beyond the natural protection rules and masculine bylaws. I desired the comfort of knowing that no matter how many times I got it wrong, I'd still be given the chance to get it right. Instead of being carelessly tossed away again, I needed my life partner to hold a safe capacity of love and comfort for me in his heart space so deep that I could retreat into this space without any infestations from the outside world creeping in, without any sudden troubles or misunderstandings taking over and completely dissolving our alliance to each other. I needed, I wanted, and I deserved to feel safe. Then I quickly excused myself to the bathroom to blow my nose as my soft cry had turned into a full blown Viola Davis snot tears. No longer dreaming. I was completely awakened by my bladder, of course. But before I could get up to go pee, I sat with myself realizing that although the counseling session, it was just in my dreams, my tears were very real. My pillow was soaked because apparently I had been crying intensely in my sleep. As I attempted to compose myself and make sense of the dream that I had just woken up from, my thoughts revealed to me the reality that I had never actually experienced any form of true comfort and safety from being genuinely loved and fully supported. Not at one point in my entire existence, not within any of my friendships, not within my family, not from my siblings or other relatives. Sadly, most notably, not even from my mother, not from anyone. This was one of the most insightful yet heartbreaking moments for me to realize I had never, ever been loved enough and had never, ever felt safe. Never. I'm talking about that true, unrestricted love, an uninhibited of comfort and freedom and expressive freedom, genuine protection and lasting support. Unfortunately, what appears to be a basic emotional necessity for most was completely foreign to me. Now, I had most certainly witnessed demonstrations of this kind of unconditional love in other relationships around me within other families. I'd even admired and to a great extent envied the existence of a palpable love shared in other people's lives. Over time, I've read hundreds of books, magazines, and other online sources about unrestricted levels of comfort and safety that develop from genuine, candid love. I just, up until that point, had never experienced it. It's sad, makes me sad. I understood the Webster definition and had most definitely watched the ideology of all things love conveyed on television and in movies. And although I had yearned for a pure love connection with profound safety my entire life, I regretfully cannot recall any point when I have ever felt that level of assuredness. But don't worry, I did get up to go pee and blow my nose in real time. When I returned to my bed, I accepted my reality. I put my head back onto my pillow and I soaked it up even more as I cried even harder, eventually drifting back off to sleep. When I woke up again, my tears had stopped, yet I still faced that heartbreaking truth of not ever having experienced genuine love or the reassurance of being safe enough to simply be. With this newfound reality weighing heavily on my heart, instead of ignoring my heartache and pushing through my projecting that I was fine on the other side while simultaneously crashing on the inside, as I normally would, I decided to address my state of being by identifying the deep rooted pain that had brought me to this point and obviously still resided somewhere deep within. The anguish that I admitted that adamantly believed I had relieved eons ago had undoubtedly altered my state of consciousness early on, and so much so that it became my belief system. I was the one who was hurt, and my bitterness and resentment had majorly become equal parts of my identity that I concealed effortlessly. It was, to say the least, interesting to come to terms with the fact that the mask of positivity and contentment I had been subconsciously wearing to hide my past troubles, shame, and pain had been visible all the time. Visible to most everyone. Everyone except me, that is. That's chapter one. You see what I'm saying? That's chapter one. Now, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to keep reading when I get off. But you see where, listen, the second chapter is some wounds take more time to heal. And it really gets into the nitty gritty, the meat and the gravy of her experiences growing up. Yeah, Bridge. That was just chapter one. Child, you got to just reading her um her dedication and preface letter. I mean, and then I read her first letter to herself. Well, she wrote it to address blank. She left it blank. She's so classy. You're so classy, Tasha. You're so classy. I can't wait to interview you, and that's coming up real soon. Call me tomorrow, okay? It doesn't matter what time. Just call me tomorrow, okay? I will be off work. I'll be out and about because I have my granddaughter with me, but call me. We must talk because I need this interview to happen ASAP, okay? It's going to happen ASAP. I love the book. I need y'all to get this book, Overcoming the Drug Addiction I Never Had by Tasha Denese. The velvet of this cover. Whew, child. I'm excited. I'm happy. This was my I unveiled the book. It was my gift it was her gift to me. And it is an autographed copy of the book. I need y'all to get out and get that book. I want to talk about this book in real time with real people, but you got to read the book. That means you need to get the book. So you can purchase this book. You can get it in e-version. You can get it on your Nook. You can purchase the book from Barnes and Noble, and you can get the book from Amazon. However you get the book. I want you to get the book, read the book, because I want to talk to you about the book. You're gonna have feels when you read this book. I promise you. I've read it 5 times. I'm gonna read it for the 6th time this evening. Yes, I am. You know why? Because I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I am in full celebration of my pre-birthday that's coming up in a couple days, 2 days, 8/5. Woohoo! Happy birthday to me. So this was a great birthday gift. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tasha. I love you, girl. Can't wait to talk to you. Call me tomorrow. Okay? All right. Thank you, Bridge. Thank you so much for listening, girl. The book, girl. I want to read to you that letter. You got to call me. Call me in a few minutes, unless you too tired. But I'm waiting on my granddaughter to come. They're gonna bring her tonight, sometime after 10. But yeah. Anyways, call me. I want to read something to you because I need you to hear this. I need you to hear this letter. You got to get the book. Order the book. Order it tonight. Order it. And tell me. Yeah. Call me if you can, Bridge. All right. I love you. Tasha, call me tomorrow if you get this message. If not, I will be calling you. All right. Thank you all for your time and for listening. Buy the book. When you get the book, let me know. I want to talk about the book. I want to talk about this book. All right. Y'all have an amazing